People, like I showed you in this last video, I just want you to understand there's a lot of people on the internet with zero experience in what they're talking about. Remember, a lot of people will get on there and say things they know nothing about. Now over here at the compound, I don't try to just talk, I try to show you things. I try to bring to light the situation that says, you, the homeowner, may be in a predicament, and you may say to yourself, I've got to get some work done, people, but I don't have equipment, and I don't know what to buy, I don't know what to purchase, I don't know what is good and what is junk. And you'll have these people get online and they'll talk about these Chinese excavators because it doesn't have a John Deere on the side of it, or because it doesn't have a Kubota sticker on it, that it's no good. But let me just explain to you. Those machines are $70,000 plus, okay? These imports that they're bringing in from China, they serve a purpose for the homeowner, people. They're not a situation where you're going to go down to the coffee shop and brag to all your buddies that you've got a John Deere, you've got a Kubota, you've got a Cat. I'll go right in that same coffee shop, eat my eggs and bacon, and tell them that I got a AGT, baby. And I do all the work that they're doing. I've got to show you something, people, because there's too many haters online that are talking crazy about these $5,000 machines. Take a look at what we got going on, people, please. We've got the AGT, we've got the LH12, and we've got a situation that says we were out here in the back and I burned all that brush off. I need to get these trees out of the way, which I'm working on. These Connex trailers need to come back into here, so that's off my property. But I got into a situation, people, of this stump right here. This is at least 3 to 3.5 feet around. You can see how big it is. The AGT had no problem. Now a lot of the other ones on here don't have the oil cooler. Let me show you what I'm talking about. A lot of these machines don't have this right here. This is an oil cooler, people. And of course, if the hydraulic fluid gets hot, you're going to have issues with it. And a lot of the earlier models that people are talking about, they put a fan here and a fan there, and they think that they're doing something. It's really circulating air. You're really not cooling the oil. You're literally fooling yourself if you don't have an oil cooler, okay? This is what I'm talking about. I have run this machine for 2 hours straight. It's 75 degrees out. Now granted, it's not 100 out, but it's warm out, and the machine's been running straight. It's been running good. It has an oil cooler. The tracks haven't came off of it. I've had this thing for about 4 months now. The blade's working great. But here's the number one thing you've got to do, people. Grease it. How about grease the machine? Use your head. I mean, take a look at the size of this hole. I don't know if you can see this clearly on camera, but look at that log. This thing is about 6 feet wide by 3.5 feet deep. It's moving huge pieces of rock. Let's bring you over and show you. With ease, people. I'm not struggling to do this. Look at the size of this rock. I mean, this thing's huge. It picks it up. You see how it scrapes it across? It grabs it. It shucks it to the side. I mean, this is not a joke, people. I've got to get this landing flat, and I've got to get these. This is sticking up about 4 inches. It's gonna hit I could have took a chainsaw and kept cutting at it, but in the dirt, I don't want to ruin everything. I want the tree out of there in case I have to dig something in the future. I don't have a stump in the way. Now, as you see, I've cleaned all this out over here. I've gotten all this debris out. We're working our way back, and we're getting these Connex boxes moved back here where they're off the yard. So if you've got an idea of, hey, I really would like one of those excavators, but I don't know because it's from China, listen to me. The people of China are not idiots. Asian people in general are some of the smartest people on the planet. Okay, let's be honest. Look at the AGT scores. Okay, they're smart. They're very ingenuity-wise. There's a lot of fabrication going on over there. You know, you'll get people on there and they'll pick, oh, the paint ain't perfect. I have a little scratch here and a scratch. Look at people. I mean, look at the paint on here. Do you see an issue here? I've had this for a while. Now, I cover it with a tarp. I use common sense. I use Country Farmer Smarts. I cover things so the sun don't kill them. But at the end of the day, if you're looking at the situation, you're saying, I've got a piece of property and I really need a machine, but I don't want to get screwed over. I don't want to get a round. I want to get a square deal. Then call Anthony out of Niagara Falls, Auto Care, and he will hook you up. Look him up. He's in Niagara Falls. Now, a lot of people, I'll say this, they get these machines. Let me talk to you about these machines. Now, I don't care because I don't have a horse in the game. I don't make no money off this. But a lot of these people get these machines in from an auction, and they get them home, they fire them up, they're excited, and they run them, and they ruin the engines. And they say, oh, them are junk. They ship these with a fluid in them that preserves the engine from rusting on the internals. They do. That is not an oil. It's a preservative. You have to drain the oil. You have to go through them. They've been in transport all the way from China. The bolts might be a little loose here and there. That's what this guy Anthony does. He goes through, he tightens them all up. If you're a handyman, you want to do that, then great. But this guy does it. It's a turnkey operation. When you get it, it's ready to go. There's a few upgrades I did to mine. Let's take a look. Now down here, you can see the size of the blade is from here down. It's about 8 inches, 6 to 8 inches. I added this plate here. It gave me a little more height. I added some different grease zerks on the areas that were where I needed like a 90 degree, like right here. I needed a 90 degree. I put that in. But for the most part, these things are pretty brutal. I mean, they work. I would recommend you get one with an oil cooler. Don't get one that just has a fan or somebody fabricates a fan on it. It's just gonna push hot air. It's not gonna cool the oil. You need a cooler, like a fin fan cooler on where the oil runs through and transfers the heat with a fan off of the oil. The oil is the life of the hydraulics, people. You see the hydraulics on the side here? And look how clean the hydraulics are. Okay? You got to have an oil cooler. It's no different than running an automatic transmission without an oil cooler. You'd burn it up. But yet somehow they expect these people get on these and they grab these ones and they don't have an oil cooler and they'll sit there and expect it to do something. Yes, it's going to work for a little while, but for the most part, you're going to work it. You need to have an oil cooler. Have I made that abundantly clear? Let's move on here in the conversation. Okay, let's move on a little bit. And let's take a look at the other situation. We are headed towards getting these Connex boxes into trailers. Take a look at what we have. I went and got these 2 tongues today. They have the couplers on them. They're a little more than 8 feet at the end, so when I go through, I'm going to pick these up and push them underneath. We're going to fabricate some brackets on the side, and we're going to actually bolt them on. The back, I've got a line on another set of axles like I have up front. But look at that, I have 2 of them, and guess what your boy paid for those? $50 for the pair. You can't even buy a coupler for that. So yes, they're rusty, yes, whatever, but at the end of the day, we are going to get these people in the codes department to understand one thing. We don't give up. We're going to fix it and we're going to get it right. Because if you're not getting it right, you guessed it, you're not getting it at all. So this is your boy Bry. I had to bring you in and I had to update you on a situation here. We're getting holes dug. We're using the AGT. I couldn't be happier with this purchase. And the situation says you may need one on your property. And you're saying to yourself, oh, which one do I get? Do your research. If you really want, you could give me a holler and I'll try to help you out. But one thing I'll tell you right now, get the Briggs & Stratton engine, okay? And get the oil cooler. Now this is not a diesel engine, people, for that money. It's not a diesel engine, but you don't need it. You barely even run it on high. I run it on medium. And the thing has all the power that you need. If it was weak and if it was a piece of junk, I'd tell you that. I'd say it's a piece of junk. I got took on it. I've spent $5,000 on other things that you know, I've got screwed over on. I got a real round deal instead of a square deal. And you wind up selling them things. You get what you can get and you move on. But this is a good deal. I would not tell you to buy this if it was junk. You see, I've been using it. I've been showing you the situation. I mean, I have a cavern over here. A cavern that I have dug out with a huge tree stump. It plucked it out. You have to just work around the edges and then give it a little tug. You use a hydraulic bucket to pull on it and it'll pop it right out, people. These are not trees that have just been growing up in the last year or two. These are 25, 30-year-old trees that I've cut down. You see how the size of them. I've owned this property for 25 years, or almost 28. But it's up to you. I can't make you understand any clearer than this. This is an AGT. This is a situation that says if you've got any kind of property, you'll find a reason for it, people. You'll find a reason. Even unloading them trailer tongues off the front. I just hooked a chain to them, lifted them up, and pulled them off. But just wanted to give you an update. The situation is we're working towards getting these trailers right. I did get a phone call today. I may have to travel and go back to Texas, which is fine because, you know, there's a lot of cornbread in Texas, if you know what I mean. But all right, this is your boy Bry. I got to get on down the road.